Hi, welcome back to Classical Coffee. It's day 4, and we're continuing to talk about Michael Dougherty's music, the Sunset Strip, and his use of icons, cultural icons in his music. Of course, here the image is Sunset Strip and all the things that means in American culture. We're here in Dartmouth at the studio of an artist, a local artist, Roger Kizik, who uses a lot of icons and symbols in his work as well. Catherine Carter, in an article about him, said, Roger Kizik's swashbuckling canvases brim with detail. His paints splatter and ooze. His colors bounce and shimmer. His patterns slash and curl. And I think when you see this imagery, you'll agree with that. And I'd like to introduce Roger. Roger, it's a great pleasure to be here. As you know, we're talking about Michael Dougherty's music, and Michael uses these very strong images, Elvis, Superman, Rosa Parks, all of these, as points of reference for the emotional meaning of his pieces, I think. And I noticed in looking around here that you use icons and symbols in your work. You do portraits of books. We have Charlie the Tuna here. It's filled with wonderful images. Can you just tell us a little bit about your art and what these symbols or icons mean for you and how you use them?
Yeah, well, my points of reference are perhaps not quite as pop. This is Crete here, a bullhead from Crete, and a northwest coast American Indian up here, this frog's head. And my father was a musician who grew up, in a pop culture of his time, dance music of the 40s and early 50s, and maybe, I absorbed some of that. But as I mentioned to you earlier, Charles Ives was an early music iconic force for me. Because of also his disparity, the disparateness, and drawing upon his own roots in New England and elsewhere. And I think I pick up a little bit on that, certainly in the books, and occasionally American cars, that you will see examples of in this show coming up. But also the iconic abstraction of America, Clifford Steele, Mark Rothko, Pollock, de Kooning, that shows up in some things like this. But my problem is I am too diverse for my own good.
I know the feeling.
But I am drawn. Really, it's a visceral thing between trying to nail some boat that's sitting in the harbor there. It's not going to be there until for another day, or dwelling on maybe a deeper relation to abstraction or something. But
well, what exactly? For instance, I mean, we were talking about you did the Ralph Lauren cards, and you've got these wonderful images. You do these portraits of books, and what is it? What is it that? I mean, this may be a bad thing to ask an artist. What is it that you're trying to convey?
The books for me are almost my best friend. I mean, I have a great circle of friends, but I'm something of a bibliophile, and I always seek out art books and art catalogs and all that. And things that Moby Dick was a very, got me through a tough time at one point in my life. And but I think even as objects,
the tactile sense.
They have a history, like they can't see it, but there is a Batiste under that wrapping that will be in this show. But it was actually it's an Alfred Barr, his iconic, monograph from Batiste from the 50s. Which I know well anyway, but I found it in a first edition in an apartment in Venice that I was rented by chance, and I knew I took a shot of it, and I knew that would be a great source or something.
Well, I know you're a big classical music fan, but you're also a jazz fan.
Right.
And that's another connection that we find because Michael Dougherty, through he went to North Texas State. He's a jazz piano player, played drums in a rock and roll band. He used to make his living by playing piano for silent movies. So he incorporates a lot of jazz and Latin music feels as an undercurrent. And do you, in any way, is jazz inspired?
Oh yeah,
I noticed the big colors.
Yeah, if I'm here, there's music always going on. Although I have to lament the passing of classical music on GBH.
Yeah, oh boy, yeah.
But no, I always have Eric in the evening or something, if it's later, but classical ordinarily, I think, it's certainly the abstract, side of me maybe plays upon the music sources.
Do you ever riff on something? Do you take in your technique? Do you take an idea and just riff it out and make it?
To some degree, but not consciously, with music. But definitely, there are themes. Ideas will come from the process because people ask me, how do I have all these ideas? It's really just through a working process. It's just like a composer. You make things, and it leads to other doors open. The more you do, the more doors that open. The problem is to restrain oneself, to edit a bit.
Stravinsky had a great quote. He said, "I'm most free when I set the most clear limits for myself." In composition.
Yeah.
Well, this is great, and I understand you have a show that's going to be open at the Shaddix Gallery in Partners Village in Westport, and we'll put a link to that up on the screen. And some of this work will be out there, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Roger. Appreciate
Thank you.
letting us in here, and we look forward to the show.
Great.
Okay, bye-bye.